And swung on and missed by Young for the third out of the inning. And that will bring up Steve Minter out of Georgia, as that one is high for a ball 1-0. And the 1-0 in the Minter is flown into right. Settling under is the right fielder Ludwig for the second out. That'll bring up Nick Denicola. As Denicola steps in out of West Virginia. That one is in there for a called strike, a curveball that catches the inside corner. 0-1. As Stevens was going to pitch, but now time called by the umpire. Keeps that 0-1 here to Denicola, who is 1 for 1 today, singled and came around to score in the second. So that one is swung and a missed, and it's 0-2. And that one is slapped into left center for a base hit. Coming over to cut it off is Antico. And Denicola is on with the 2-out hit. He's 2 for 2 on the day. That'll bring up Noah Cabrera out of Towson University, playing third base today. Cabrera also is 1 for 1 today with a single that he was actually thrown out at the plate on by Jake Hammond later, on a double by Kyle Rudicelli. He was thrown out at the plate as a check of the runner at first is now bounced back into Stevens and gets by him, but luckily Cole Baller's there to back him up. I don't know what Janord's doing at first, but either way, it is 1-0 here to the batter Cabrera. And the 1-0 was cut on and missed. Nice curveball there from Stevens. Evens count at 1-1. If Cabrera were to keep it going, on deck is the designated hitter, Thomason, as that off-speed pitch is also swung on and missed. And Stevens is ahead 1-2. And the 1-2 from Stevens is chopped foul. As Stevens takes a breath and resets. It is still very hot here, above 90 degrees at Shuttleworth. So even if the sun is starting to go down as that one is fouled back, keeps it at 1-2. So even with the sun setting, the temperature is still high in the shade. But it does keep Zane Stevens' arm nice and warm. As the check of the runner first, nice pickoff attempt. It looked like he almost got him too. But they say that Denicola was back in there safely. Now Stevens sets and deals the 1-2. That one is high. Nice snag by Matt Padre to keep it from going to the backstop. Evens the count at 2-2. We've talked a little bit about the catchers behind the plate and how good they are defensively, of course, with everyone being switched around as that one misses high. And now Cabrera has fought back to even the count or excuse me, to make the count full at 3-2. But I would probably say that Padre is the best defensive catcher all around on the Mohawks this season. Not with the best arm, as that one is rocketed into left. Going back is Jake Hammond. He will watch it clear the wall. And that will be a 2-run home run for Noah Cabrera, who is 2 for 2 now today. And that makes the score 7-5 in favor of the Mohawks. That for Cabrera is his first home run of the season, and it gives him his 4th and 5th RBIs, as the Mohawks are now within 2 runs. And Logan Thompson will step to the plate out of Eastern Kentucky. That one is fouled back beyond the grandstand, and it's 0-1. And the 0-1 from Stevens is fouled back once again, so he's already ahead 0-2 on Thomason here. As I'm sure the Mohawks would like Stevens to have a better start than what he's had, as that one is in the dirt and it'll be 1-2. But I'm sure they're happy that they have a lead, as head coach Keith Griffin isn't even actually here tonight. He is sick at home, so Coach Doug O'Bray kind of steps in as the interim head coach for the night. So that one will be grounded to the left side. Nice snag by Cole Barr, ranging to his left, and that will be the 3rd out. But not before Noah Cabrera smacks a 2-run home run to bring the Outlaws within 2 runs. As the Outlaws score 2 runs on 2 hits, they leave none on base. And there are no errors in that inning by the Mohawks, as we will head to the bottom of the 3rd with the Amsterdam Mohawks up over the Oneonta Outlaws 7-5. You're listening to the Amsterdam Mohawks Radio Network here on YouTube Live. Cole Barr, playing 3rd base tonight, will lead off the bottom of the 3rd for the Mohawks. And Dan Jankowski is out And in for him is Raby Hampton out of Texas Tyler University, which made the finals of the 2018 Division III baseball championship this past year, as that one sits high and outside. It's 1-0 here to Barr. Cole today so far is 1 for 1. He's singled and stolen a base. And he also came in to score. As that curveball is in there for a called strike, and it's now 1-2. Hampton on the mound, as I am getting his stats now. The 1-2 into Cole Barr is on the inside corner for a called strike 3. As Barr turned away from him, but of course he does crowd the plate, so I guess that's just something you have to deal with when you take that stance inside. Umpires sometimes punching out on a ball that is kind of unhittable. And that will bring up Shane Muntz out of Wake Forest. Hampton on the mound for the Outlaws. This is his 6th appearance. He's thrown 4 2/3 innings, as that off-speed pitch is in there for a called strike, 0-1. He's given up 9 hits and 4 runs. All runs are earned. He's walked 2. He struck out 5. He is 0 for 0 with a 7.71 ERA. As that pitch misses low for a ball, evens count 1-1. The final line for Dan Yankowski will be 2 innings pitched. He gave up 7 runs. 5 of those runs were earned. He walked 1. He struck out 2. He only threw 44 pitches. But overall, it was just a rough night for him, as that one is punched up the middle into center field for a base hit. And Shane Muntz becomes now the 9th Mohawk to reach base in the lineup. So now all Mohawks have reached base. Michael Ludwig is 0 for 2, but he reached on an error in the 2nd. So, yep, everyone else has either gotten a walk or has hit. As that will bring up Jake Hammond, who is 1 for 1. He singled and scored. The last thing is that one is off the plate. It is 1-0. And the 1-0 is on the outside corner for a called strike. Evens the count at 1-1. Give you a little update of the out-of-town scoreboard. Here, the Jamestown Jammers got a win over the Albany Dutchmen 10-9 in a Sunday matinee, as that one is cut on and missed by Jake Hammond. It's now 1-2. So that proves well for the Mohawks, as the Dutchmen now drop to, if I can get the standings up, they are now 10-10 and even 500, which puts them behind now in 4th place, depending on what Saugerties and Oneonta do tonight. Of course, Oneonta right now down 7-5 to the Mohawks. The Saugerties Stallions are currently beating the Glens Falls Dragons 4-2, as that check of the runner at first is almost thrown away, but snagging it is the first baseman, Eaton, and it will keep Shane Muntz at first. The 1-2 here to Jake Hammond is high for a ball, evens it at 2-2. But the Stallions are up 4-2 over the Glens Falls Dragons in the top of the 3rd at Canteen Veterans Memorial Field, as the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs are currently leading the Utica Blue Sox 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. So that one will be popped up in foul territory down the left field line, but ranging over is the 3rd baseman Cabrera to make the catch for the 2nd out of the inning. The Elmira Pioneers beat the Newark Pilots earlier today on a 5:05 start, They just finished up about 15 minutes ago, as Elmira has now they've been certainly playing better. That is their second win in a row, but that gives them 9 wins. They're 9-15 now. So that one is ripped down the left field line, and it will hook just foul as the Outlaws catch a break there. That's Richie Nitsa at the plate out of FAU. So it'll be 0-1 here to Nitsa, who singled and scored. Had an RBI single just like everyone else, it seems like, in the order last inning. As that win also today for Jamestown gives them a league best 18 wins. So they're 18-4. As that one hits Richie Nitsa right in the knee, it looked like. So that one I'm sure felt great. And he is on, and it'll be runners on first and second here for Elvis Peralta Jr. with 2 out. Elvis so far today also had an RBI single. He stole a base and scored last inning as well. That gives him his 6th steal of the day, which is officially the team leader. Or excuse me, that was his 7th actually. Running on that is Shane Muntz trying to steal third quickly, but he will be tagged out for the 3rd out. Not really sure what he was trying to do there. Just kind of trying to sneak one out. That caught stealing will be the 3rd out of the inning. As we will head to the 4th here at Shuttleworth Park. The Mohawks get no runs in the bottom of the 3rd on 1 hit. They strand 2. No errors in that inning by the Outlaws. As you were listening to the Amsterdam Mohawks Radio Network here on YouTube Live. Anthony Eaton, now SUNY Brockport, steps in to lead it off here for the Outlaws in the top of the 4th. Zane Stevens still on the mound for the Mohawks, bounces that one in for a ball, 1-0. Eaton so far today is 1 for 1. He singled and scored on an error in the 2nd. As that one misses low as well, it's 2-0. Eaton has only hit 1 home run, and it was at Shuttleworth Park earlier in the season. As that one is hooked just foul. That was almost the 2nd one. As that one was ripped down the left field line, but he was way out in front, and it's now 2-1. And that curveball sits high and inside, and it's now 3-1 here to Eaton. Stevens has labored through 3 innings. He's given up 5 runs, including a 2-run homer by Noah Cabrera last inning, but he has survived and still has a 7-5 lead, and that one is inside as he walks Anthony Eaton to lead off the 4th. Luckily for him, that's probably the one guy you don't have to worry about as much on the bases stealing-wise, as Eaton is known a little bit more for his power and hitting. As Rudicelli steps in out of Washington Lee University, playing right field tonight. He is 1 for 1 as well. He had an RBI double in the second and ended up scoring on the same error that Eaton did as he fouls that one way over the grandstand. It'll be 0-1. And now the 0-1 to Rudicelli from Stevens. Bounces in. Nice stop by Matt Padre there. As I don't think we've recorded a single wild pitcher pass ball yet, which is a little surprising. Usually you see at least one or two by this point in the game. Yeah, pitchers starting to fatigue. They're throwing it short, throwing it long, but that one will, however, be ripped into left center field gap and will drop in for a base hit. Cutting it off is Mike Antico, and he will hold the runner Eaton to second. Of course, Eaton isn't exactly a fleet-footed individual, but that was great great speed by Mike Antico cutting that ball off. That thing looked like a double as it was hit right straight away left center, right in between the outfielders, but it'll be runners on first and second here with still nobody out. And the first pitch into, as we still have a Zane Stevens looking for his sign. He now sets. Eaton at second. Rudicelli at first. Squaring around to bunt is Kenny Hayden, but he'll take that one for a strike, 0-1. As the Mohawks here have the corners in and their middle infield at double play depth. The 0-1 here to Hayden. Actually, as Zane Stevens checks the runner at second, but Eaton will head back in there safely. I'm kind of surprised that Stevens is really worrying about Eaton. He's not even taking a good secondary lead at second, as that one misses inside, and it evens count 1-1, especially with the way that Stevens has had big innings happen to him the last 2 in the second and the third. It seemed that it would become contagious for him to leave balls up in the zone. So I'm sure right now him and Matt want him to get the ball down. And it's easier said than done, of course, as that one is up and in, and it's now 2-1. But if Stevens wants to finish this inning without giving up the lead, he'll probably want to induce a ground ball now, as that one misses high. It's now 3-1, so the 9-hitter Hayden has a hitter's count here. Of course, the leadoff hitter, Derek Orndorff, out of Penn State, is on deck. But interestingly enough, through the first couple of times through the order, the only part that has done anything to Stevens is the bottom 6, as that one will be flown out to right. Settling under it is Michael Ludwig, and he will make the catch. Not tagging at second is Eaton. And that will be the second out, or first out, excuse me. So now with runners on first and second and 1 out, Derek Orndorff steps to the plate. He is 0 for 2 so far today. He struck out in the first and flew out in the second. And I mentioned it's the bottom 6 that's doing the damage. The top 3 in the Oneonta order are so far combined 0 for 6, as that one is a curveball in on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. Eaton now taking a longer lead here with 2 outs, or 1 out, excuse me, as that one skips away from Matt Padre. Now heading to third is Anthony Eaton. Padre didn't really hustle for that one. I think he's a little upset at himself, thinking that now he could have gotten Eaton. I think after that one rolled away from him, he realized that he had no chance of getting the runner who would be off on the pitch, but Eaton got a bad read on that one. However, Oneonta now has runners on second and third with one out. And it is a wild pitch also called, as that one is inside for a ball. It's 2-0. What? That's a pass ball. Yeah. It hit off his glove. Went right under his glove. That's a pass ball. And the 2-0 is low for a ball, so now it's 3-0 here to Orndorff. And the 3-0 curveball is in there for a called strike, and now it's 3-1. As that one is swung on and missed. And there were actually 2 strikes there on the batter Orndorff, as we still don't have a working scoreboard. Cannot see the amount of strikes. The umpire has not given us any signals. So that will be the second out on a strikeout swinging by Orndorff. And will bring up Cassius Young, as now we have a visit from Coach Doug O'Bray with Zane Stevens talking over the next batter what they want to do. Now the tying runs in scoring position. Go ahead run at the dish here in the top of the fourth. Amsterdam Mohawks currently have a 7-5 lead over the Oneonta Outlaws. And mentioned earlier in the broadcast, they also currently have sole possession of first place in the Eastern Division in the PGCBL. And that is only a 1-game lead. But it is now a game and a half over Albany, who lost 10-9 to Jamestown already today. And if the Mohawks were to hold on and beat Oneonta here, that would also give them a 2-game lead over the Outlaws, as that one sends the bat and the ball back, as I'm not sure which one went higher up on the netting, but either way, it's 0-1 here to Cassius Young out of Georgia College. Young so far is 0 for 2. He's struck out twice. Stevens on the day has 5 strikeouts. And the 0-1 into Young is off the plate for a ball, 1-1. As Stevens, after giving up these first 2 base runners, looks to get his first scoreless inning since the first, as that one catches the outside corner. Now he's ahead 1-2 to Cassius Young. And the 1-2 from Stevens is ripped down the left field line, but will be foul. Skips out to Crescent Avenue. If he could keep it going, on deck is Steve Minter, the shortstop. And now Steven steps off once again, gets another sign, resets, going straight out of the stretch, the 1-2. Curveball fouled down the left field line once again, and we will reset. As the sun has all but parted us here at Shuttleworth, the lights are on the field, but it is still a scorcher here in Amsterdam, probably still in the low 90s. As hopefully temperatures drop quickly with the lack of sunlight, as we have another timeout here at the plate now by Cassius Young. And he'll step back in. The tying runs on base here. The 1-2 from Stevens is a ball that gets away from Matt Padre, but he snags it and no one is able to move up or score. So it'll be 2-2 now. The Mohawks still have a 7-5 lead. And that one sits high, and it is now a full count here to Minter. And the 3-2 is fouled into the dugout now. So that one skipped, it looked like, all the way back behind it. Who will reset once again. Stevens has really labored through this inning. And he may just be done regardless. There's a lefty warming up in the pen as that one misses outside. And now the bases are loaded for the 3-hitter Minter. We'll see if Stevens gets one more batter. And it looks like he will, as Doug O'Bray, the interim head coach for the Mohawks for the night, as Coach Griffin is out sick, as that one is on the outside corner for a strike 0-1. He leaves Stevens in there to face Minter. Now with the force at each base and 2 out. That pitch is low for a ball, and it's 1-1. The Mohawks would certainly love to get out of this inning with the lead, but even more so for Zane Stevens, who's had to labor through this hot start, giving up 5 runs, but he'd still be leaving the game with the lead as that curveball sits high. It's now 2-1. Stevens has thrown 85 pitches. And the 2-1. Oh, as the bat goes flying, and it hits the top of the Oneonta dugout and skips behind it. Luckily, no one was back there, but that bat made it into the stands. And luckily, it didn't make it anywhere into the grandstand as we have the full netting here behind home plate. But I guess with all the sweat today, the pine tar isn't quite doing its job. And Minter will I think that is not the bat that he was using. I think they gave him a different one. It'll now be the 2-2, and that one is cut on and missed. And that will be Stevens' 6th strikeout as he finally gets out of the inning. And the Mohawks still hold a 7-5 lead over the Oneonta Outlaws. In that inning, there were no runs on 1 hit. The Outlaws leave 3 on base with the bases loaded. No errors in that inning for the Mohawks as we will head to the bottom of the 4th with the Mohawks 7, the Outlaws 5. You're listening to the Amsterdam Mohawks Radio Network here on YouTube Live.